Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond with one more five things someone should or should not have done. And this time it's the five things Emma should or should not have done in the shooting timeline. All right, first of all, is um, she should never have protected Rick. Now, I know it's a stretch to say, well, hang on a second. She should have protected Rick and all that. Well, Emma was trying to get rid of Rick thanks to Paige and Spinner putting the bug in her ear that basically they needed somebody smart enough to knock Rick down a peg or two because they knew that Rick wasn't going to give in to convention. So Emma did the orange ribbon campaign. I thought it was something to do with roses at first, but the orange ribbon campaign to get rid of Rick once and for all, and that got the students to take things in their own hands. Now, of course, it was successful. The fact that it didn't break any rules, but Rick did try to pay off Emma all his money for domestic violence. Now, Alex was wrong. Emma could have ripped up the check or something, but I think Emma was trying to rip the new one. Alex was stating that Emma should not be anywhere near him. No positivity about Rick and all that. Now, Emma did the right thing by protecting Rick, but it cost her Paige's clique, and it cost her popularity at school because all she had left after what she did to Chris, Manny, and Liberty was that it was all the quiz bowl team, Heather, Toby, and um, Rick, and all that. So Emma thought she was doing the right thing by protecting Rick, but it got Rick attracted to Emma, and unfortunately, for someone who's trying to have, they try to have not deal with people with like feelings. But anyway, that sucked. Number two is she should have had a sixth sense about Rick being creepy and all that. So even though Emma was trying her hardest to try to get Rick out of the school in a nice way, well, not a violent way, she tells Rick, "Why did you come back to school?" And he says that I have to prove to people I've changed, and they'll learn. They'll figure it out that I've changed. But although Emma has her doubts and all that, Rick being creepy was played more in the episode Time Stands Still. That basically Rick tries to get Jimmy off the team because Jimmy was bothering him and all that. And Emma says, "You have to go to Simpson," and he goes, "I can't go to Simpson." He obviously will know. So of course he goes around, gets blown off. Rick did tell Emma that it was good that Emma said that he should fix things with Jimmy because they had to get along with each other, and they did. Rick managed to get Jimmy on his side and all that. So unfortunately, though, Rick was making weird advances like holding her hand, smiling at her, even saying creepily before he goes up for the tiebreaker, "This is for you," and all that. I wish that Emma had actually figured out Rick for being creepy and tried to knock him off somehow. I mean, I know she was just trying to avoid the advances. And worst of all, Rick, kissed Emma and all that. And Emma finally blew her gasket at Rick. I mean, fair enough. That, Emma might have done it. Might have had a sixth sense about Rick being creepy. And this will lead to the next one. The third thing she should or shouldn't have done was basically tell Snake about Rick's advances. Now, I know I did a Reddit post and they said that Emma was probably going to put everything past her on that day. And then after school, she would talk to Snake because, Snake is her stepfather. Perfect. Like, I mean, yeah, they make a good point that Emma was probably going to tell Snake at the end of the day. And then Snake would have had to take Emma seriously and would have basically told Rick, "What are you doing with my stepdaughter?" and all that shit. The worst part about things is that Emma obviously had to go to Snake because I doubt she would have went to Radish. I don't know if it was possible that Radish was still peeved at her for the Orange Ribbon campaign that, undermined him and all that. I mean, the problem is that, this wasn't the first time Radish had basically told Emma off and then Emma got back at him. The genetically modified foods thing I mentioned time and time again. But the fact of the matter was that I don't know if Raj would have did it something. Raj probably would have going to be protective of Rick and basically just like before and basically tell Emma where to get off, if you will. Snake probably would have heard that and then got on Raj's nerves. Next is the ravine. She should never have been at the ravine for any reason. Now I know about the STI, gonorrhea, blah blah blah. But basically Emma's problems was that she was trying to look for a solace after having the gun pointed at her head by Emma. I mean, by Rick. But the fact of the matter is that, she was trying to change her tone. Basically, she set herself up with a modus operandi or a gimmick, if you will. The first 3+ seasons, that basically she was someone who was uptight about things, who wanted to make the world a better place, but basically ticked a lot of people off. Emma was a great person, and her character was that she was trying to save the world and not have to deal with not to get adults involved in things. Basically, she's like, I can fix this by myself and not have to worry about dealing with unknown people. But the problem was that Emma had the problems, and she went to the ravine. She got with Jay. She got the bracelets. She basically caught an STI or social disease, as she describes it. But that actually, in a strange way, actually got her better because then she realized she had to freaking take matters in their own paws and just tell everybody about her struggles. And that leads to the last point. Point number 5 is she should never have kept things within herself. Now I know that was just her character that she kept, that basically she could internally fix things and all that, and not have to deal with adults being bad and not have to have them involved. But the problem with Emma was that she did not want to appear human. That is the weirdest thing you could probably say, but it's kind of true. Now, was a great character. She knew what she was doing. She had good feelings about things. She had the right ideas, but she couldn't act on it. Basically, almost every conflict Emma had to deal with in the first 3 seasons, she either got told about it, told off, basically, about the catfishing and all that. She had it fixed. This was one problem that she couldn't have fixed internally. Externally, she could have just admitted she needed help and all that. There's nothing wrong with admitting help. You need help and all that. And for practically just avoiding your character. I think Emma was just trying to protect her character, which was this person who knew what she was doing and all that. Now, it did help to make Emma's character a little bit better, but she was kind of crappy in season 5, basically with being with Peter and all that. And in season 6, her character got another shock when JT got stabbed. Now, say what you want about Emma, but Emma was upset that Manny moved home with her parents. And Emma might have faced a lot of repercussions back at the house because, Emma and Manny threw the party for Liberty while Snake and Spike were out of town. So and Manny refused to talk to Emma. But Emma wanted to talk to Manny. She didn't want to have to open up to a professional. She thought that Manny would help her. And I think that she would have had been forced to talk to Sauvé about things in counseling. And, that could have manifested her PTSD with JD's stabbing, excuse me. I feel bad for Emma's character because once we saw in season 9 episode Holiday Road, we basically saw Emma just go flat. She's failing school. She's trying to make friends, but Manny and Liberty are doing their other things, and Emma feels lost. That, and then Mary Spinner. I know it was random, but stranger things have happened in the Degrassi universe. So anyway, that's all I've got for this series, if you will. Stay tuned for future videos.